Hi, it's Gerald here again with the Community Spotlight, and today we're here at Foxtale Book Shoppe, located in Woodstock, right at downtown near City, what do they call it, City Park? Is it
Yes,
City Park?
it's City Park.
Okay, so where the big fountain is, it's right there. So I'm excited to be here with Mary. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, it's great. I know you and I met a number of years ago now. It always seems like a blur with the COVID years, but I'm so excited to finally have a chance to stop in, learn more about the bookshop, what makes it unique and different and everything, and why everybody should stop by and visit. Okay?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself first. How'd you end up here?
Okay, so I'm Mary. I'm almost a lifelong native of Woodstock, and I became an event planner. That's the short story, about 15 years ago, and started doing some work with Reformation Brewery. What up? And I became their event planner, and we did some events with Foxtale.
Okay.
In correlation with them, some author events. And during COVID, the long story short is that Karen and I started talking, and she needed someone to come in and manage her store. And I was like, pick me. And I've been here for almost 2 years.
That's amazing. Well, it's certainly a beautiful bookshop. You'll see some footage rolling while we talk, and hopefully you have a chance to come by and see it. But you know, in the world of bookshops, there's obviously some very big ones out there. There's a lot of things online and things like that. What do you think is unique about someone being able to come into a smaller, independent type bookshop and see and experience what you have here?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. I believe this is one of the best places to visit in downtown Woodstock. Not only do we know the entire city like the back of our hands, but we curate every book on the shelf in here.
Wow.
So if you come in and ask us for a recommendation, we're not just putting a book in your hand. Someone on staff has read it, and someone on staff can talk to you about it and explain to you why you might like it or might not. We also do story times every Saturday at 11, and we have book clubs that meet at night and during the day, and we have author events. And so I think what we do ultimately is we create a space for community, for book lovers, and for people who are new to books.
That's great. It certainly sounds like a lot. So you have the story time. Is that particular age group?
It can be all ages. We try and do a couple of books so that we hit a few ages. I would say anywhere between the ages of 2 and 7. And we're always looking for folks to come in and do story time for us. So if that's something that somebody feels like they'd like to volunteer, or they have a specific story they'd like to share, we're always open to that.
Now you mentioned you also do author signings and things like that. So in your time here, I'm guessing you've done a number of those. What's one of your favorites?
Oh gosh, so Karen White is one of our favorite local authors. She lives just over in Milton and comes and visits quite often. We've hosted Nicholas Sparks, Karen Schwetman, the owner, her favorite author, Rick Bragg, has been in here a number of times. We have a couple of big ones coming up. Karen Slaughter, who's a horror writer and suspense writer. And then this fall, we have one of my favorite authors, Viola Shipman, coming. So I would say that not one event, but just the idea that I get to meet all these great authors that I love so much.
I can certainly understand that. I did radio for a little while many years ago, and it was always fun to have all the different artists come by the radio station for different interviews or events, and so it certainly has its kind of added benefit.
Yeah, it's interesting to meet people that you've read their works and you think you know them, and then you kind of don't want to fangirl too much, but still.
Or in my case, sometimes you meet them and you're like, I like them a little better when I kind of knew them from a distance. Not that they're bad people or anything, but it was like you, in your mind, you have this kind of image that you've created, and then you come in and they're 4 foot tall, and then you're like, oh my gosh, on TV they look so much larger. So it's always a fun thing. But the relationships and things are always great when people can come in a setting and you just get a chance to interact with people, things like that. So what is it, that you think someone, aside from just the curated book things, what is the overall value you think it brings to the community? Because Woodstock's really growing and changing a lot. You're right here in the heart of downtown. You're overlooking, literally if I looked out the window right now, there's the amphitheatre.
Yep.
That's where we're located. So if you've come to an event, summer concert series or whatever, you've literally walked by the area where the bookstore is. So what is it that you think the bookstore, represents in the Woodstock community?
I really do think that we're here to support book lovers and readers, and they are a strong community in Woodstock for sure, and they need a place to feel home, if that makes sense.
Yes.
My sister and brother and I were raised with a love of literature, and I remember bringing my boys to story time here. I mean, the store's been here 15 years now.
Wow.
So I remember bringing my kids to story time here, and they still talk about that. So I think what we do is we provide a very unique experience in downtown Woodstock where you're not going to find anywhere else. And even when we're bringing in big name authors, our goal is always to make it still feel like this is a community bookstore and we're all in it together.
Awesome. Now, where can someone who may have not been here before, where can they learn more about the bookstore before they visit?
So you can go to www.foxtalebookshop.com, and that's FOXTALEBOOKSHOPPE.com. Or, much easier, we're on Facebook, Foxtale Book Shop, we're on Instagram, Foxtale Book Shop, and we're on Twitter, Foxtale Book Shop. So you can find us there as well.
Wow, such consistency. It's wonderful.
Phew, thank goodness.
Well, that's awesome. Well, this was a community spotlight just to give you a taste of another one of the many businesses and activities that happen as what I call beyond the tree line, which is people come up and down 575 all the time, and we don't always know the resources and things that exist in our communities. So that's a part of 575's mission, is to connect you with those resources. And I love speaking with the small business owners because they have a lot of passion, and these small independent shops like this one exist, and they're important to our community. So hopefully you take the time to check out the website, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to learn more about the many events happening here at Foxtale Book Shop. Be sure to stop in, tell Mary that you saw her on Guide to 575. Thanks a lot.